Hello everybody, welcome. Today we are talking about why it is so difficult to get tickets for Hyrox in the UK. Now this has been sort of one of the most contentious areas of Hyrox events to date. A little while ago, just after Birmingham went on sale, I made this video, and in this video it came across as a little bit ranty about the ticket selling problem, as a bit melodramatic. I admit that. However, I have since been able to reflect, I have been able to observe the process as it is today, and it has changed a little bit since that video, so the topic is worth revisiting. Now in this video, I'm going to go through the three distinct stages of how the ticket selling process works. It might give you some clues as to how to sort of get tickets more efficiently. At the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about different ways that you can get tickets other than in these three stages. And after that, I'm going to talk very quickly about alternate events that you might want to consider should you not get into Hyrox at all. So in this video, I'm going to try to simplify everything I can using some visual aids. And by visual aids, I mean Duplo. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, we need a little bit of backstory. When Hyrox sort of first started out and when they were trying to generate money and revenue, they needed to sell affiliations to gyms. This is passive income for them, so they don't have to do a lot for it. They essentially sell their brand to gyms. So for a small amount, 1,000, 2,000, whatever, a gym would pay Hyrox, and that would allow them, by contract, to use the Hyrox brand. They would be allowed to use the logo, they'd be allowed to put it like banners on the building, inside, the website, social media, all of that stuff. And that in turn would bring in new members that wanted to train for Hyrox. So win, 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 right? One of the small perks of that little package was 48-hour early access to tickets. Now, 48 hours, back in the early days, you didn't really need any of that because they weren't selling all of the tickets to Hyrox events. Fast forward 4 years and suddenly we are dealing with a supply and demand issue, and these codes, these early access codes, are now very, very valuable and they're very sought after. So it's caused a sort of a massive boom in the affiliations, and it's caused a swell in the members of those gyms. So the amount of people now that are represented by affiliated gyms is ginormous. It's time to get on with it. I'm now going to explain how the ticketing system works with the help of some Duplo. Here in the middle, the red bricks, they are going to be representing the tickets, the total amount of tickets for a single Hyrox event. Now remember, there are 5 Hyrox events in the UK each year. Each of these events is 2 to 3 days, and that's sort of anywhere between 8 and 12,000 tickets per event. So that's what this represents, 8 to 12,000 worth of tickets. Right, over here on this side, the greens, these are our Hyrox affiliated gym members up and down the country that pay to go to Hyrox affiliated gyms, and they are the ones that have early access. Over here, the yellows, these are everybody else, the unaffiliated, just the regular people that train at normal gyms but like to do things like Hyrox. I'm one of these, you're probably one of these if you're watching this video. And over here, we have the naughty people, but we'll talk about those in a minute. Right, so stage 1, 48-hour early access. At a designated point in time, Hyrox will announce to the world, quite quietly at first, and to the affiliates, they will say, right, the tickets are going to go on sale now. And they will send them a code and they'll send them a link, and then it's up to the gym to disseminate those amongst their members. You have to be quite quick at this point because the very first thing you will notice is that there is more greens than reds. So essentially what this means, if left unchecked, if left uncapped, it is quite possible that the greens, the affiliated gym members, could buy all of the tickets, and it would leave these guys very sad. So what would inevitably happen? The quick guys, the ones that are on it, would send their links out fast, and let's say this amount of people end up with, let's say, this many tickets. So these guys are all happy, and these are the ones that will show up on social media first, bragging and showing off about it all, and they are very happy. They've got tickets the easiest possible way. And as you can see, the ticket amount has reduced quite a lot. Now, you'll notice that there's quite a lot of the gym affiliates that have not got tickets. And this problem is only going to get worse. The more affiliates and the more gyms that they take on, the more of these people will be promised early access codes, and won't be able to get tickets. I think this feels really quite unfair, because you've been promised something almost and you can't get it. These guys will be told once the cap is reached, wherever that cap is, that they're sold out, right? And the only avenue for these guys is to join the general population in the next step. Stage 2. This is where the affiliates have all now got their tickets. These guys are happy. They're popping up on social media all over the place, telling us how happy they are about getting into Hyrox, and already posting videos of them on ski ergs. Here, the now depleted ticket pool is now waiting for stage 2, which is the ballot stage. Now, you'll notice that the greens here have now joined the yellows. These are affiliate members that weren't able to get tickets due to the cap. So that has increased the overall pool of the ballot. And over here, the blues, the naughty people, these represent the have-a-go types, the touts, and anybody else. The ballot, it's not overly clear how it works, other than that it's randomized. One of the behaviors that I think might be happening is that when you sign up to the ballot, it will allow you to sign up to many different categories multiple times. Now, what I have observed is that the first one you enter seems to take priority. I'll explain fully in the next stage, but I believe the one you choose first is the one you'll be considered for the highest. So they run the ballot, and the way this works is you go to the website and you enter your name, address, whatever. And then so all these names go into a big hat. Obviously, when a ballot attracts more people than, say, just entering would. You would just get a huge amount of entries, multiple entries, people that weren't even ever really going to consider doing it, those that might just want to sell the tickets on for profit, who knows. So we've now got this huge pool of people for this small amount of tickets. So for about a week, you can sign up and enter as many times as you like. So let's run that through. A few of these guys will get tickets. A few of the affiliates, a few of those will get a second chance, and then a few of the general muggles, the yellows, and I'm very much one of these guys, might get a few. And it just sort of goes on like this until this kind of situation has happened. So a bunch of yellows and the touts and the naughty folk, they also get a few, put them on the end, until we've got all the tickets have been sold here. That means that there is a massive amount of people that have missed out. And that is quite clear and quite frustrating after every single event goes on sale. Sorry guys. But is that their last chance? No, it's not. Stage 3. One of the first things you want to understand about this particular ballot is if you get a spot, you get an email sent to you with a link in it. This link takes you to where you can buy your actual ticket. This is time sensitive. You get a finite amount of time in order to claim your place. Now, if you miss that email, if that email goes into spam, if you've given the wrong email address, any number of reasons why you might not click that link, it doesn't matter. If you do not claim your ticket in the time, those unclaimed tickets go back into the pot. Okay, so now we have a small amount of tickets across all the various categories back in the pot. Now there'll be a few people kicking themselves that they didn't check their emails at this point, but it's good for those that do. About 3 weeks or so down the line, I got an email out of the blue in the middle of the workday. I happened to be looking directly at my phone, at my inbox as it dropped in. I clicked the link immediately and was taken to a page. On that page, it offered only the category that I had selected first. Remember when I said if you sign up to many different categories, how I believe the first category you sign up for is the one that it has the highest priority for you. And this is backed up by the fact that I only got offered for my first choice, my men's doubles. So I clicked on the link and it immediately said sold out. Less than 60 seconds after the email dropped in, it said sold out. I was a bit gutted. But I sat on that page for another 10-15 minutes and I refreshed it, refreshed. Eventually the option came live again and I was able to add to basket and check out. So I got a ticket for Hyrox London. I was one of these guys. So, last chance saloon, I got a ticket just like that. In the end, without too much stress. But that isn't guaranteed. I was quite fortuitously looking at my email. If I'd left it another 5 minutes, I wouldn't have stood a chance. So we have 3 clearly defined stages in which to get tickets. The first is the affiliated gyms, but you still have to be quick, remember. Then it goes to the Ballot, which is for everyone, and then there is the last chance saloon of getting this sort of overflow, the unclaimed tickets from the Ballot. So that, as you can see, is a very convoluted way of just selling tickets to people. Obviously there will be a massive group of people every single time that miss out, and this is the bit that stings, and this is ultimately, this can only really be addressed by having more spaces, having more red tickets in the first place, and that can only really be achieved by having more days and more events. Whether or not that actually happens, if they want to put on more venues, or if they're happy just selling tickets this way forever, I do not know at this time. So I hope that sheds a little bit of light onto how this entire process hangs together. Obviously it's complicated and convoluted, but please do hang in there for the relative stages, and do really keep an eye on your emails in those weeks, because obviously you could get an email that says you have a space, and if you don't react quickly, if you even hesitate for a couple of minutes, you could miss out on that opportunity. So yeah, that's what I've learned from my experience, from my observations. You may go through all of this pain and still end up being one of these guys. And this happened to me at Birmingham when I made this video, in fact. Now, I'd all but given up hope of going to this event when a good friend of mine said that they were looking to sell their ticket to someone reliable because they wanted to go on holiday without a Hyrox hanging over their head. So I quickly snapped them up and bought their ticket. So that would be an obvious way to get a ticket after the fact. The thing is with Hyrox events, loads of people sign up, and as it gets closer, a collection of those have injured, a collection of those won't train and then suddenly realise it about 4 or 5 weeks ahead of time, and then are desperate to sell a ticket. Others just genuinely have emergencies or conflicts that they need to resolve. There are loads of people, every single event, are trying to sell tickets. Now be really, really careful. There are really good ways. There's a Facebook group, I think it's Hyrox Tickets or something like that, where you can go and these things can be managed for you. Okay, so let's assume that you've not got tickets the official way and you're a little bit shy about buying off someone on the internet, as you should be, and you are looking around for something else to do. This last year, because of the sort of Hyrox being a little bit of an unknown measure with regards to getting to an event, it sort of pushed me towards looking at other hybrid fitness events, and there are loads and loads and loads out there. The ones I have looked at the hardest are Spartan Deca Mile. I very much enjoyed that. That's a rock solid sort of 25 minutes to 30 minutes of effort relative to say over an hour's worth at Hyrox. Nuclear Fit, which is a 45 to 50 minute effort, and the next one on my calendar is Deadly Dozen, and that is probably going to go well over the hour in terms of time. All of these offer something slightly different, a slightly different feel in a slightly different location, but they are all very, very testing in terms of your fitness and your capacity to sort of endure that kind of event. So really give these other competitions a really serious consideration if this isn't working out for you, okay? And there's always going to be more Hyrox events. Hopefully the problem of a shortage of tickets, the popularity problem as it is, will start to resolve itself as things start to even out a little bit. It's probably sort of a right now problem rather than a forever problem. Okay, so that is about the end of this particular video. I hope this has made things a little bit clearer about how the process works. There's still a few grey areas that I haven't quite figured out. If Hyrox would ever like to get in touch and explain to me how it works with real numbers, so I don't have to use my kid's Duplo, then please get in touch by any of my various social media platforms. If any of you guys have been through this process, if you've been left out, or if you've been lucky and got tickets, or alternatively, what have you done instead of Hyrox? Please, yeah, drop all that down in the comments. Before you bob off to another video, please give the channel a subscribe. It really sort of encourages me to keep going making videos and stuff. Thank you very much. See you soon, guys. Mart out.